sieve our flour and cocoa. I've put our flour, cocoa and baking powder together. It will save time, and we can obviously weigh them out together as well. This saves time and washing up. In again. Lucky last time. So I'm actually going to do it 4 times. Can't go wrong. I'm going to get a spatula and I'm going to sieve half of this on top. Fold very gently. Again, if we mix it vigorously, we're just going to knock all that beautiful air out that we've gotten into our egg, which we do not want. Okay, only 2/3 mixing before we add our next. Because it's such a small amount of flour, I'm only doing it in 2 lots instead of 3 lots. Folding motion. Quarter turn of my bowl as I fold through. You can use specifically a Swiss roll tin. A lot of people don't stock that in their kitchen, so I'm going to be more, I suppose, user-friendly and I'll show you a way that is another way we can do it without a Swiss roll tin. So I've just got a tray that has approximately a 1–1.5 centimetre edge. I've sprayed the tray with my release agent. I've put baking paper on top and I've resprayed the top as well, just to be sure. Sometimes this can get a bit sticky and stick to the paper. So just to be sure, I've sprayed the paper as well. Okay. So now, depending on how much you've mixed your mix and stuff, it might not cover a whole tray. So if that be the case, and I like to show things that can go wrong as well, and alternate things that we can do to fix a problem. So then what I'll do is start from one end, like so. Don't waste any, try to get as much out of the bowl as possible, hence why we use always spatulas for no wastage. Alright. Palette knife. And then we start palleting it in to the corners. You have to remember it's a sponge cake, it's going to rise. So, and because it's a Swiss roll, we don't want it too thick. We also need to remember with this, if we don't have it even, it's going to be very obvious in the end product. So we have to make it as even as possible. As you can see, mix is quite viscous. That's what we want. So, straight in the oven at 200 degrees. It's a bit higher temperature. We need that almost the instantaneous puff, like cooking up. And because it's such a small amount, we're only going to be baking it for approximately 5 to 10 minutes, around 10-minute mark, give or take. I'll be checking at about 7 minutes. Again, don't bang your oven door, most important. 7-minute timer, and start. And creme chantilly is basically just some thickened cream with icing sugar and some vanilla. Now you could use some vanilla beans. I've actually used some vanilla extract. Vanilla extract is a bit more stronger in flavour, and of course it's more natural. Obviously also though it's quadruple the price of vanilla essence. So depending on what you're making and where you're making it, you'll either use an extract or an essence. So basically we need to learn the different peaks of cream. So I'm going to take you through that. Now one of the tools we can use in the industry is a handheld mixer. And I wanted to go through lots of tools through this cake unit to show you different ways of doing things. So we'll start whisking that up. We need to be careful. A medium peak and a firm peak, there's about 1 to 2 second difference of mixing. So we need to keep that in mind. So now we have a soft peak. So soft peak, you'll notice if we lift our whisk, the peak will go up and directly down. Then we have a medium peak. The peak will go up and then go down. Much slower than our first peak. Firm peak now, we should lift our whisk and it should all stand. And you can touch it, you can feel that spring, or if you're unsure, just give up. We're going to put the top directly down onto our sugar. So hold your cake directly down. Carefully take off your paper. This is why I sprayed my paper. Using the paper and your tea towel to guide you, you're going to roll your Swiss roll up with the paper inside. Like so. I know it seems very odd to do this. However, if we don't do this process whilst this sponge cake is still hot, it will crack and we'll never be able to get the correct shape. So once we've rolled that up into the Swiss roll shape, we place it onto a cooling rack as such and allow it to cool down 100%. To finish our Swiss roll, once it's 100% cooled down, we then unroll it like so. Okay. Then, now what we need to do is put our creme chantilly on top, which we made beautiful earlier. As you can see, all those beautiful black specks that we can see in the cream is the actual vanilla bean. So if your customer starts saying or complaining why your cream is dirty, you can tell them that it's actually your vanilla bean. So, we need to be careful not to put too much filling, otherwise when we roll it, it's going to be bursting out the sides and it's not going to look very nice. So I reckon I'm only going to need approximately half of this cream. I'm going to cover my cake but leave approximately a 1 centimetre border. Pushing away, approximately a 1 centimetre border, which will allow us some room for folding. Nice and even as possible. Okay, so now we need to roll up our Swiss roll without the paper. Quite simply, we now roll carefully, like almost like a spring roll. If you do have too much cream, just remove it before you see it bursting out the seams. As you can see, we've got a little bit too much cream there, so I'm going to just remove a touch now prior to it bursting out the seams. Same with the end. Wash hands. And then that final join has to be at the base of your cake. Usually I'd advise to use a serrated knife. what we do, we cut the ends by a sawing action. If you don't saw it, it's not going to cut properly. Wipe your knife, repeat on the other side. Like so. Then for presentation, what I'll do, we cut it down the middle. And then present it. If you were presenting it as a whole cake to a table, that would be more than acceptable. The only couple of things I'd add, some colour. And like so. Something simple just for a bit of colour. This is just micro mint. Chocolate mint work well. That's how we can make something really plain look really special.